What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing? Of course, though, you know this is another episode of Phenomenal Views, and you all know Russell.
Yo.
We just got back from watching It.
I have one question for you all. Do you float? For you will.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have watched reviews. I've watched Chris Stuckman. He gave it an A-. Every review that I have heard talking about this movie is good. This movie is great. This movie is funny.
Yep.
This movie does have a lot of attention to it. Whenever Pennywise is on the screen, it is silent.
Yep.
There's a little bit of music, but it's the right tone.
Yep.
It is silent. Pennywise is creepy. The guy who played him, well done. My gosh. So, okay, so from book accuracy, this is very faithful.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that and I was telling about him, the only thing I kind of had an issue with was they didn't go much into the background of Patrick. I forget what his last name is. I think it's Patrick Stutter, which is probably a good thing. So now, for those who don't know, in the book, Patrick is one of Henry Bowers' bullies, or one of his lackeys. He is a very sadistic person from what I have read and from what I have been told. He believes that he's the only real person, so everything else, and I've like, people have said like this is actually a real like mindset or like a real disease or something. He believes he's the only real person. Everything else doesn't really exist. So he kills his little brother when he was 5. He has a hobby where he has a refrigerator and he takes animals and puts them in the fridge and watches them basically suffer and die. He gropes women without their approval. He even gropes Henry and offers to perform oral sex on him. So there's probably a good reason why they didn't do that. Even though this is rated R, I kind of just wish that they would have had, like, maybe even have Henry, like, mention something about the refrigerator, or, because, like, the movie starts just like the book does, with Georgie's death. And when they said that this death was going to be gory, oh my gosh, it was.
Oh, yeah.
They actually show Pennywise biting and ripping his arm off, and then him getting dragged into the sewers. And I don't know if they confirmed that the old woman saw him go into the sewer, or did she walk right out as soon as he went in?
She walked right out as soon as he went in.
So, but another thing that this movie does phenomenally well is the actors.
Oh, yeah.
And kid actors normally are not very good.
Yeah.
However, I've heard that, like, a lot of these kids, I think maybe Richie or Bill was from Stranger Things. So we got people.
Yeah.
We got people honking. We're in a very crowded parking lot, kind of. There was a lot of people to see this movie, too.
Oh,
we were waiting around the corner thinking, oh, are we going to get tickets? And I'm so glad we did. We're probably going to go back and watch it, or at least I'm going to try and go back and watch it tomorrow. But the acting was very good. I believed everybody in the film. Probably everyone's favorite kid in this entire movie is freaking Richie. They got all the character traits of the kids right. They got Bill being where he stutters. They also got the guilt that he feels with Georgie. He feels like Georgie's death was his fault. They got that. They got Mike. Although they didn't really go much into his backstory either, which I guess I'm okay with that. I mean, it is an adaptation. They got to cover for time because the miniseries is like 3 freaking hours long.
Yeah.
Mike. Oh, I already talked about Mike. Eddie, they got him down perfectly, and I did like how they actually had somebody mention to Eddie that his sickness is fake. It's not legitimate real, and they got his mom down right. Freaking Beverly's dad, oh my gosh. Whenever this guy was around, I just felt creeped out, and that's the thing. Now, in the book, he actually punches her in the stomach, and so I'm glad that they did not have him beating the piss out of her, because that's actually what he does when he finds a love note. He punches her in the stomach, and he just freaking abuses her to death. And the blood scene from the sink, that was done really well. A lot of the scenes from the book are in here, and it feels like a really faithful adaptation. This is a good film. It is scary. It's not like there's like 1 or 2 scenes that is like pee your pants, and it was really, really freaking good.
Yeah.
They got Henry Bowers right with his hatred of. Basically, Henry also he hates black people. They do a big hint that he hates black people. How he gets the knife, how when Henry is cutting into Ben and just like a car of people just drive by and they just look, they do nothing. I did like how they handled Derry's history.
Yeah.
Now, what they do in the book is it goes back through flashbacks, or at least it's all told from Bill's perspective. So when Bill is talking about these memories, or at least not the memories, the history, there's a lot of stuff that's happened with Pennywise, and they show it with newspaper articles, or when they go to Ben's, he's got like once again a bunch of newspaper articles, or when Ben is in the library, he's looking at all this stuff, and the clown starts messing with him, showing him about the Easter egg thing.
Yep.
There was the black spot, there was the furnace burning down. They had a lot of stuff from this book. However, the only thing I am kind of disappointed with is that they did not have Pennywise change into the bird, which I guess that would kind of be silly to pull, or would be kind of silly to pull off. But the feeling from Neibolt Street, oh my gosh, that just, I love how like Beverly said, I always feel like it's watching me. And that is pretty accurate to, at least from where I've gotten in the book, how they talk about Neibolt Street. And this just feels like a very, very fun film to watch. If you are a horror movie fan, or if you're a Stephen King fan, this is a very faithful adaptation, and I strongly recommend you go watch it. It is fun to watch. It is intense, and you will most likely enjoy it. I would honestly give Stephen King's I would go with Chris Stuckman. I would give it an A-.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only things that I really didn't like was I kind of wish that they went into a little bit more characters' backstory, although some are a little bit more hardcore, so I can understand why they didn't do it, but maybe just like a subtle hint. But nothing in this film bothered me, although there was one thing I'm glad they did not do or did not mention, and that is the train scene, and I'm glad they did not mention it. Beverly kisses like 2 boys in this book, in this film, and I was like, okay, if that's them hinting at anything, which I'm pretty sure it's not, they probably would not be able to get away with that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go watch this movie again. I am definitely gonna go watch this movie again. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this review, because we enjoyed this movie. Go watch this. Put in the comments below if you have seen Stephen King's It. What did you think about part 1? Oh, that was another thing. The way how the movie ends, it says, does it say part 1 or chapter 1?
Part 1.
Part 1. It says part 1. So they're definitely setting up a part 2. Where they're all gonna go and do go their own separate ways. Although one thing that was not in the film that was in the trailer is Stan's speech, because he gives a speech in the film, but I think they actually had that kind of more. They had Stan and Ben talking, and I guess they combined it together and made it look like that it was Stan talking. They did get right how Stan doesn't believe any of this is really going on, showing that Stan is the weakest of the losers, whereas Bill and Beverly, I think they were showing, are the strongest. Every character in this movie grows from what they are, except I think Richie actually is the only one who doesn't really grow. He somewhat does, but where I know what happens to him, you can kind of see why it ends up having him lead down that road to him eventually, killing himself. But like I said, guys, put in the comments below, what did you think of Stephen King's It? If you have watched it, or if you're a Stephen King fan, put in the comments below, what is your favorite Stephen King book? Who is your favorite Stephen King villain or your favorite Stephen King character? I really want to know. Guys, I hope you have had a good weekend. There's a hurricane coming, so we're going to go try and stay safe. You guys stay safe, and don't forget to have a good day, and please subscribe. Have a good day, guys.